My name is Zach Koga with Minarik Drives, and in this video we're going to show you how to wire up the MM301A using an input source. For this demonstration we will not be using the 3 conduit holes. But to wire up this drive properly, you'll have to use each of the conduit holes. These will be used for your input power, your armature leads, and your logic leads. It is recommended that you keep your logic leads separated from the power and motor leads. The first step is to undo the screw that connects the door to the case. Now that we've removed the cover and exposed the drive, we'll set the input and output voltage switches. The input voltage switches are located next to the transformer and are factory default set for 230 volts AC. We're using 115, so we'll switch both to the 115 position. The next switch is the output voltage switch, which sets the output voltage and is factory default set for 180 volts DC. We're using a 90 volt motor, so we'll switch it to the 90 volt position. Next, we'll set the input signal switch and the feedback switch. Since we're using a power supply to simulate a 0 to 10 volt DC input signal, we'll leave the switch in the factory default position of voltage signal. If you're using a current signal, you'd have to switch it to the current position. Next, we'll look at the feedback switch. It's factory default set for armature feedback, and since we're not using tach feedback, we'll leave it in the armature feedback position. The next step is to connect the armature leads from the motor to pins A and 2, or pins 6 and 7 on the terminal block located on the bottom of the drive. So, we'll loosen pins 6 and 7 and take our armature leads and tighten them down. Like so. Next, we're going to connect our input signal leads to pins 8 and 9 on the terminal block. But first we have to look at this resistor that's attached across pins 8 and 9. If we are using a current input source, we would leave that resistor in. It comes factory default set with the resistor in place. But since we're using a voltage input source, we have to remove the resistor before applying power. So, we'll loosen the screws and remove the resistor. Then tighten the screws back down. We'll now take our voltage input leads. We'll take the common, put it in pin 8. Tighten that down. Then take our positive lead, put it in pin 9. Next, we're going to look at pins 1, 2, and 3 on the terminal block. These are dedicated for power. Pin 1 is for L1, and pin 2 and 3 are for L2. Pin 2 is used for 230 volts AC, and pin 3 is used for 115. So we'll be connecting our power leads to pins 1 and 3. Just make sure to tighten them down tight. Like so. We'll now go over a quick test procedure to make sure everything is working properly. So we'll turn on our voltage source and apply 2 volts to the drive. This is so we can make sure the drive commands the motor to rotate. We'll now check the full voltage range, which is 10 volts for this drive, to make sure we're getting the max speed we require for our application. We'll now turn our voltage down to 0, and everything seems to be working properly. Thank you for watching this wiring demonstration brought to you by Minarik Drives. If you have any other questions, please feel free to visit us at www.minarikdrives.com or call one of our application engineers at 815-624-6950.